and a couple of teams
Oh,
that
goodness.
are at least one team is going to start off 2-0. I feel pretty good about their first weekend here in the 2023-2024 season of the Call
Yep.
of Duty
I mean,
League.
first, I think we should just rip the band-aid off and just get
Yeah.
into it, just so people aren't confused when they're watching on YouTube. But we aren't allowed to show gameplay on the show tonight. Again, this is very last-minute notice to us. We found this out 30 minutes before the matches today. At least I did. So we are just going to have to talk to some people and see what we can and cannot do. But the streams are over. All the live games are done. I don't know. I don't know what the rights are. I'm not really too sure how the YouTube deal is. We want to continue doing the show on Twitch. The show has lived on Twitch for years. I've always been on Twitch. I've been on Twitch for a decade. I started the show on Twitch with Ben. Ben, you remember when we started the show? For us, we all our plans, all our numbers, our analytics, everything that we've had planned for the flank has been around Twitch. So for me, it doesn't make sense to do anything yet and switch any platform until I talk to somebody and see what's going on and figure out what we can and cannot do. Because honestly, chat, there was a lot of drama today, and a lot of people are going crazy and stuff like that. But for me, man, it's just about getting conversations with the right people and having open communication. I got no problem with the league, no problem with Activision or YouTube or anybody. It's just more about being able to have an open communication line so where we can figure out what we can and cannot do. Because I was very frustrated that we had a 6-month off season. We're left in the dark the whole time. Then they tell us what we can or cannot do. Yesterday, on the first opening day of the league, we did that. We did what we had to do.
Wait, hold
And
on,
then
back up
there
a
was
second. We were told on Tuesday what we can and can't do, and then we were told on Friday, 1 hour before the matches, that was actually not the situation, and we had something else that we had to abide by policy-wise. Just to be clear,
right, right,
we
right,
were
right.
sitting here for
Well,
6
no,
months
no,
in the
the
dark.
whole right. But today was news that we couldn't show
That's
gameplay in the show,
another
and then
fucking
they
twist in the
added another
story.
element
Yeah.
to it the next day, and we're like, "Holy shit! What can we do? What can we not do?" So we're just confused, man. We're just very confused.
Yeah, I'm so confused, bro.
Yeah,
I think it's
very
also
confused.
worth saying, like, and I'm not telling anybody to do anything, but I mean, just to give a reference example, community wise, you guys have seen, what happens when you guys are vocal on social media toward the players with GAs. We saw what happened. We saw it happen in 2019 when the entire community was very vocal about the format that the CDL launched with in 2019 and how fast that got changed and overturned.
That
Um,
was getting a trip to Paris to play one
if,
game,
if you guys
bro.
if you guys remember, the original format of the CDL was the worst thing I've ever seen in not even esports, in anything.
No, that's pretty bad.
And so, yeah, I think it's important to keep in mind, like, how powerful your voices are as a community. And, you know, I think it's just important to, reiterate that you guys, speak up, do what you do, and you can definitely enact change. So keep that in mind with how
Yeah, I
you
mean,
spend your time on social media.
I mean, listen, man. Like, I don't even want to have to talk about things publicly, but they put us here. Like, they put us in a bad spot where they're giving us this new information where we have to change up everything we're doing when matches are about to start. I mean, Ben, you can attest to this. We were on a phone call today, and the whole phone call, I'm like, matches start in 10 minutes. Like, what do you mean? And it's like, for me, it's frustrating because we're trying to do what we want to do, and we don't really know what's going on. And whenever I try to communicate with these people, I'm always being sent a middle person, like a middleman. And it's like, no, 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 we should figure something out together, and just frustrated in terms of that line. But listen, guys, at the end of the day, we're live on Twitch right now. We're going to do the show. Don't want to step on any toes or break any rules. Obviously, we need to make sure what we can or cannot do. So today's episode will not have gameplay. Not sure about tomorrow's episode. I think we'll figure most of this stuff out at the end of the weekend. If not the end of the weekend, hopefully tonight. I would love to figure it out tonight. But again, last night I was trying to figure things out and I couldn't get on the phone with anybody. And then again, 30 minutes before the stream today, I got hit with more info. And I'm still struggling to be able to talk to somebody. So just trying to figure it all out, and we'll go from there. But
It's also important too, and I think Seth did a good job of clearing this up, which was that, Seth, I think, had like a 30-minute clip or 30 seconds to a minute clip where he was just like, look, you know, the flank, the breakdown, Seth, Zuma, you guys are all on the same page. Like, there
yeah,
definitely should not be a pit one or the other against each other here. Like, I think
yeah,
at the
agreed.
end of the day, both of y'all being a you know combined voice is good in this situation.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll be honest with you. I talked to Seth and Zinni and Hector. I was on the phone with them, and we were all confused, all of us. Like we were all just thrown off, and none of us were told any of this stuff. If anything, we were just told the opposite. We can do this. We can do that. We are able to do this stuff. Everything that we're affected by, Optic is affected by it as well, in terms of the rules and what they cannot show on their show, and anything that they want to do. Just so many things are changing, and I saw a lot of people supporting them. But listen, bro, like that's the king, that's Scump and Optic and all those guys. They have shown nothing but love to us. We're gonna show nothing but love to them. Sometimes we see what people are saying online, like the fans and stuff like that, and it's like they couldn't be more wrong when they constantly try and say things to pull us apart. We are actively
Well,
talking to each other and trying to figure out
I
what's going
I
on.
will
So
say, and I don't think this is talked about enough. My biggest issue, when you let me know, and obviously we've talked in the chat, like the problem I have is that you specifically, right, in this case, have been doing the shows on Twitch even when the CDL was exclusive on YouTube in both
yeah,
Cold War and Vanguard.
yeah,
And so my problem is, now I think the big issue I have as just a consumer is now that you and Seth did your whole like tour all the events and like, it got really big last year. Now it's an issue that you guys are doing it on Twitch. It was never an issue in Cold War. It was never an issue in Vanguard. Like Tom, we did every flank watch party and show on Twitch the exact same way you started to
yeah. It
yesterday
hasn't changed.
for 2
Nothing.
years. Yeah, for 2 years.
Right.
And it's like, how is it a problem now when they're doing a 1 year, what we know of, the
Right.
same exclusivity deal? So
Yeah, that's where the confusion comes from too, Paz. Like we've done this in Vanguard and Cold War, where I'm on Twitch showing full cam, just mini map scoreboard. Like I was told I can do this. Like I got permission to do that. And then after the games, we would just review the games and just break down the games. Like even yesterday, Zinni at like 11 p.m. like was streaming on Twitch, just watching the match, watching back the Optic match, just talking about it. Like he's not even allowed to do that. Like based on the ruling that we were told, like you can't even do that.
and,
So
and
it's like,
and also I think it's important too to call out that like there's a bit of bias here as well because I don't know if you guys looked today, but I went through the Twitch like list today on viewers on Modern Warfare, and there was like 10 to 15, probably more that I couldn't even see people that were doing watch parties with their webcams of full gameplay on YouTube. And we
yeah.
kind of know like those guys aren't going to get DMCA striked, right? Like they're not even going to get brought up. No one's going to care. And I think that's the problem here is like, the CDL clearly whether it's their decision or not, like there's clear bias in the fact that it's the 2 or 3 or 4 biggest creators that are being impacted, and this isn't a across the board thing. So that's I think one of my biggest issues is that it's very clear that it's a targeted, not attack, but a targeted thing that's being enforced here, and that from a majority standpoint, they don't care if other people are broadcasting, YouTube gameplay on Twitch. It's just
Mm.
very targeted to the
Well,
fact that these
And
watch parties have been so successful